Okay, so eventually we're going to find this out. It's going to come out what
It's gonna
has
come out.
caused this. So what do you think it is? If you had to guess. And then this, obviously, we know nothing. This is just us saying, So I'm thinking more in the positive lane. What do you think?
I think, yeah, more positive. I mean,
Yeah.
people take breaks from stuff, just like you stop drinking soda. People stop doing a lot of things sometimes. Like you said, sometimes it's like a fast from a lot of
Mhm.
different things. And so I don't think
Yeah.
anything negative of it.
Or he's looking to make headlines because he's got something releasing.
That could be. You
Mm,
just never know.
I
We'll
know.
find
I
out
know.
hopefully on our next episode. Let's see what we know. We'll have to keep updating as we hear, as it unfolds.
I know. What's the latest on Snoop Dogg?
Welcome to the podcast where we talk about cannabis.
Community violation. Code Green Plant.
Hi, welcome to Code Green Plant. I'm your host, Christy Chanel, and I'm here with my co-host, Phoebe James.
Hey, Christy.
Hey! I also forgot to say this is a production of Simply Vibin'. I feel like I haven't talked to you in like 5 years. I don't know why. Didn't we talk last Saturday or no? Did we talk last Saturday?
We talked last Saturday.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't really, talked to you, even though I see you every day.
We just podcasted last Saturday. That's different than talking. We haven't just talked and caught up really since then.
So here, let's catch up here. I know that some big headlines happened, and I don't know if you've heard, but if I'm a betting girl, I'm betting you have heard. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg. He put a post up that said, after much consideration and conversation with my family, I've decided to give up smoke. Please respect my privacy at this time. I mean, we just covered him as one of the celebrities that are like the biggest. He's like our godfather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's one of them. We still have Willie. We still have some others.
And Willie ain't going nowhere.
Not to go off track, but I just saw on Instagram, I think it was today, a video of Willie when he was young and he was singing. I would have never known it was him if it didn't have his name. I would have never known it was him just by his look. His voice, yes. But just if it was a photo of him. Yeah, he was cute. But he was just,
okay.
he didn't at all look like the Willie of today. So if that's something we should look up, you should put on the screen for everyone, people watching to see, because I was surprised and he looked like, I feel like he looked like an accountant or something. Like not the Willie of today with the braids. He didn't have long hair. He had short hair. He seemed proper. He seemed almost nervous. So maybe it was really early on in his career, and he was singing and yeah, the voice was definitely him. It was just on Instagram. You know how you see stuff as you're scrolling, like maybe a reel or something.
Willie.
But I'm sure if we went to Google, you could just Google young Willie Nelson. But
I'll just put Willie the accountant. I should pull it right up.
Yeah, but back to Snoop. I was surprised by this.
I don't know how to feel.
I see you look sad. You don't need to look sad.
Well, I'm wondering, I guess there's no context. So I could look sad for a couple of reasons. One, is he going through something? That makes me worried. That maybe personally he's going through something. Yeah.
Oh.
And so I don't know that he would just one day decide just to quit unless there was something in the background that obviously we're not privy to. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just love him so much. And to have him in our lane is so cool, because
I think
I like him.
He'd still be in our lane. I mean, he opened the door. He's one of the people that opened the door into it being more mainstream. And I think he'd still be an advocate. I doubt he'd ever come, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I'm not too concerned just because I feel like sometimes smokers take breaks. But it's also, it helps your tolerance. Maybe if you've been coughing a little more, it's cold season. You never know if you have some cold that's kind of lingering. Sometimes you have to stop for reasons like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you were... Okay, so eventually we're going to find this out. It's going to come out what has caused this. So what do you think it is? If you had to guess. And then this, obviously, we know nothing. This is just us saying, So I'm thinking more in the positive lane. What do you think?
I think, more positive. I mean, people take breaks from stuff. Just like you stop drinking soda. You stop People stop doing a lot of things sometimes. Like you said, sometimes it's like a fast from a lot of
Mhm.
different things. And so I don't think
Yeah.
anything negative of it.
Or he's looking to make headlines because he's got something releasing.
That could be. You
Mm.
just never know.
I
We'll
know.
find
I
out
know.
hopefully on our next episode. Let's see what we know. We'll have to keep updating as we hear, as it unfolds.
I know. What's the latest on Snoop Dogg? Also, I wanted to cover the fact that I've got an article on TikTok that's kind of blowing up. And it's like I was in my personal page on TikTok, and then I was like, oh, let me go check Simply Vibin'. And I go over to Simply Vibin', and it's got 13,600 views. And it's
Okay.
an article on the dailyhealthnote.com. And it says scientists reveal what cannabis does to your bones. After being
Mm-hmm.
treated with CBD, the healed bone will be harder to break in the future. This is huge for athletes. I mean, just
Yeah.
humans in general, but it's huge. So I figured I would read some of the comments because some of them are funny. So I have one, and it says I'm unbreakable with a happy emoji. Then we have Joe who says 100% agree. And then Luminous Energy. Mine are like steel and haven't drank milk in 40 years. Then too bad we can't trust any studies nowadays. Okay. Except it's in a lot of studies nowadays. Autumn. Now this is the one I connected with the most. And I felt some kind of way, and I want to find as much as I can to try and help her. But she said, "Oh, please be right. I am glad to do the research into this. I use it for medicinal reasons. I have 4 bone diseases." And I'm just like, oh my God. So I responded and said, I hope this can help you. Then she said, I've been hoping for that for a long time. I want to help, and if I can find stuff anytime I do, I'm gonna pull it up and share it on Simply Vibin' 00 on TikTok. It was huge. I mean, people were and there are 411 likes on the post.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that tells us something. If this is true and they do reschedule it to a 3, man, we are all going to be like titanium.
Yeah.
Never
breaking a bone again.
Never. Today's episode is about fentanyl. I mean, it's a hot topic. It's been brought up in 3 prior episodes with 3 different people.
Has it? Wow.
It has. It has.
I reached out to Narcan because this is, there's another name for it. What is it?
Well, who's Narcan?
Oh, I have all kinds of info here.
I bet you do.
Facts about Narcan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is a drug?
No, well, yes, it is. It's a nasal spray, and it's for opioid emergencies. So if you suspect an overdose in somebody, then this is what you administer to them to hopefully counteract the effects of the overdose. So it's opioid emergencies, can happen anytime, anywhere, and it's available over the counter. So you don't need a prescription, and it's available nationwide. And it says when to use.
Well, how much is it?
I actually don't have the price.
And I know that when you reached out, I think we were trying to get a discount.
We were trying to either get a discount and get maybe some sample products, if people wanted samples.
Mm-hmm. And they couldn't do it.
We did get something else. We got these handy dandy handouts.
Okay.
With information on them, but unfortunately, I would say there's not a price on these because it probably varies by store. It's going to depend where they're selling it, how much it is.
It's I just looked it up real quick. At Target, they are selling it for $44.99. And it can be bought as part of an overdose kit too, I think, but that's like in the hundreds for something like that. But yeah, $44.99.
40. How many do you get?
It says 2 single-dose nasal spray
2
devices.
doses. It says right here, 2 doses per package. Like, I don't want to talk bad about this product, but I'm like, damn, who's gonna buy it just to have? Like, who's gonna spend $45? Damn, I wish it was cheaper than that, or if we could have got coupons even, because this is something that would be good to have. I mean, for any average person, just throw it in your purse. You never know. Like they said, you never know where I don't even mean if you or someone you love, but a stranger, even if you could save a stranger's life, so you're not going to spend $45 for something you'll most likely never need. But geez, That's
I think
crazy.
it's very telling when you reach out and say, is there a customer code or something you can do so that people can have this? We want to share it.
Uh-huh.
And they tell us no. So it's expensive,
Well,
people.
shoot. I mean, so I suppose people that use it and have money would get it, but that's like most things, if you got money. They said they'd send me a demonstration kit, a demonstrator. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Send me that, Christy.
Oh, no. What
One,
the
two, three,
hell?
four. Wait. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's raining Narcan demonstration and training devices. But here's how it comes in the package. Here's how it looks. And so it's a nasal spray. So this is it. You pull it out and you just put it up someone's nose and
Is it got stuff in it?
push. This one doesn't. It's a demonstrator. So it's empty,
Okay.
but this is how it looks. So this is how simple it is. And you really, that's crazy. That right there is
Just
a $50. No, 25. You get 2. So this is $25, but it saves a
Yeah.
life.
Could you describe it for the podcast listeners who can't see
Oh,
it?
okay. Yeah. So it looks like the top of a nasal sprayer, but
It's like a Barbie table for little miniature Barbies. And then right in the center of it is a large cylinder tube that you push
you know
from
what
the
you
bottom.
could say? It's a very tiny patio table with an umbrella stand in the middle, but no umbrella.
Yeah. That you push
That's what
with
it
your
looks
thumb
like.
on the
But
bottom.
you push the bottom of the umbrella up, and
Uh-huh.
this doesn't go up or anything. That's just what's going to push the nasal spray into the person's nose.
It looks very simple. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know
it
why they
does.
sent you 15 of those, but apparently they think you need a lot of directions.
Right. I know. Like, he was very like, I can do it. All right, I got it. I got you. And I got a whole box. I'm like, what is this? If someone wants a demonstration device, contact me. I got them.
And they're free. So look at us. I think if my son wasn't in high school and he was older, I probably wouldn't invest in it. I just wouldn't, because I'm not worried about myself. But he is 15. He is in high school. So I'm more likely to invest in something like that because these kids are experimenting and they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea.
And they don't know what's in this stuff. You don't know. You might not even think it's, it could be hidden in something. So, yeah.
It most likely will be.
Parent of a teenager, it would make sense to invest in it. Throw it in your kid's backpack even. I don't think you do anything, kid, but you might encounter this. Also, you never know what they're going to encounter. So that's a good point, Christy.
Yeah. And as a mother of a teen, to know that my mom group are the people that my son's hanging out with, they have one of these on hand, I think is huge. And I think if everybody knew, hey, this is a thing, we'll make sure we're covered if anything should happen, even though we trust our kids that they won't do it, you experiment as a teenager. So I went and I looked to see why. Okay, so I don't know that we've relayed why you would need this really yet.
You what?
But I don't know that we've relayed to the audience why we looked this up.
Okay. Well, what it's designed to do is it rapidly reverses the effects of a life-threatening opioid emergency. So you use it to revive someone during an overdose from many prescription pain medications or street drugs, such as heroin. So if someone in your house has prescription pain meds, even if they're, prescribed by a doctor, might be something to have on hand. And I don't even mean you don't have to be addicted to it to possibly need it, because people might forget if they took a dose and take another one. And these prescription drugs, they're all dangerous. They're all just as dangerous. So I don't know. Yeah, but it's so it's safe to use for prescription pain medications or street drugs such as heroin. It'd also be fentanyl, probably morphine, oxycodone, all those types of drugs that
is this
use.
Something you would be giving, you could do yourself? Like, I mean, I wonder what the signs of having an overdose are that maybe we should kind of look in. Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah, timing. Signs and symptoms. The person will not wake up or respond to a loud noise or loud voice or rubbing firmly on the middle of their chest. Breathing is very slow, uneven, or has stopped. Center part of the eye is very small, sometimes called pinpoint pupils. So your pupils are dilated real small. Fingernails and lips turning blue or purple.
Okay, so those are the signs to look for. And most likely you're going to be in a situation where you have to administer this for whoever you're with. And you don't necessarily know that they've taken anything. So
And it won't harm them if they didn't, but if you suspect it,
Go for it.
and it only has one spray in it, so you put it, lay the person down, put the dose in their nose, and then call 911. Always call 911. So that's the instructions here, and then watch them for wait 2 to 3 minutes after the first dose to give the medicine time to work. If they wake up, you just stay and wait on the ambulance. If they don't wake up, you can give them doses every 2 to 3 minutes until they wake up if you have it. It is safe to keep giving doses, so you could keep giving them if you had several on hand. But I mean, like you said, this would be life-saving for someone who has a family member or a loved one that has an addiction problem.
So I went and I looked up fentanyl in general because
Okay.
I feel like it's a buzzword now in our generation right now with the new, the kids that are coming up. But I didn't really hear about this growing up. I never heard about this. So I was like, well, let me see who invented fentanyl and where it came from. So I just pulled up and I looked it up, and it says it was invented in 1959. So it's been around a long time.
It's been around. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was invented by Dr. Paul Jansen. And it is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine because they use it in the operating rooms and for large animals. So this is 100 times more than morphine. What? That and it's on the street. It's on the street.
Yeah.
In marijuana, or
what
am
is
I wrong?
Fentanyl?
Yeah.
Oh,
street drugs.
Shit, that'd be scary if someone is lacing it in there. I just know that it's considered an opioid and it is mixed with other drugs, but I didn't see marijuana as being one it's mixed with.
It is. And that's actually what Shannon had brought up, is that she's worried and she told this story about it being in the marijuana. And that is honestly why I thought I need to get it in my house, because kids are smoking weed in high school. They just are, or experimenting with weed, and it's in the weed. We actually talked to Mr. OG about it too, and he was saying that they're mixing it in there, and I said, why would they do something like that? And then and so
it makes the drug stronger and more addictive, thus you want more of it, so you're going to go get it from that person because it's stronger. Yeah, that is scary, and that's why it's so important for it to be legal, so you can get it in a controlled manner and you know what you're buying. Yes. And or they know the grower and they know they wouldn't do it. This is only going to be a problem in the illicit, illegal market. So that sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I thought it needed an episode in cannabis, because I don't know that mothers our age range really know about that it's actually can affect your children. Yeah. Even if they aren't popping pills.
And I would say also, I wouldn't think it's going to be at a deadly level if it's in marijuana, because all the statistics I found about it, none of them said that the overdoses occur when it's, it was like a co thing where you're taking more than one and it's a mixture, and you're doing it like you know what you're doing when you do it. So let me.
You think it's
polysubstance
propaganda?
Overdose crisis, meaning that people are mixing fentanyl with other drugs like stimulants, but also countless other synthetic substances. This poses many health risks and new challenges for healthcare providers. So it's kind of something they're mixing with something else. It reflects, data reflects intentional co-use. For example, using fentanyl and methamphetamine together, and unintentionally using fentanyl and stimulants. So what you're mentioning about marijuana could be, while that is a thing, don't get me wrong.
It came from Shannon.
Would hope that it's not in a deadly level.
When I had a private conversation with her and we were talking on the phone, she actually brought this up as a problem in the industry, because she knew of a group of people, teenager women, girls, that did it, and one overdosed and died. And so that it started to be a situation where she wanted to make sure. She actually told me about Narcan for the very first time, and she said she recommends parents have it because it is going around in marijuana.
Shit. Okay.
And that, and
you should have started off with that.
Sorry, all these articles are marijuana and fentanyl.
That's rough, Christy. Yeah, I did not know. That's horrible.
Fentanyl-laced on the rise, marijuana, fentanyl-laced weed, cannabis and fentanyl facts and unknowns. It's a big thing. I'm not worried that my 15-year-old is going to be taking meth. Maybe I should be. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but knowing my child, I more worry because his mother talks about cannabis, that one day he'll feel like he can go smoke that with his friends and think it's safe. And it isn't. Okay. And I've told him that 25, dude, wait till your brain is fully formed before you try it. But that doesn't mean I can stop him if he's out and all his friends are like, hey, take a hit. And there's fentanyl in it. It's terrifying. And that is my biggest worry, because that is the least scariest of all the drugs out there. I mean, of course they say alcohol and beer, and you know what that can do to a teenager that has their license, but marijuana doesn't have the same stereotype as that at this point. It's kind of like, oh, you just eat a lot. Yeah, and that's true if it's not laced with something that'll kill you. So that's my worry as a parent, and that's why I want to put this out there for other parents that are not really looking at it. You know, they don't know about it. You didn't know it was an issue.
I didn't know. I would say not even just parents. Anybody who buys marijuana from someone that's not, a legal dispensary. It's like you never know, and why legalization and regulation are so important.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal because you want to be able to have these things tested. You want to be able to know where your product is coming from that you're ingesting or smoking. I'm glad that we can at least give a little education on it. There's so many things that we're learning now just being in here and doing this podcast that I wouldn't have known had we not done the investigation, because just like the normal average person isn't go, I wonder who fentanyl is affecting today. It's just not something that you go and you look,
But 150 people die every day from overdoses. 150 every day die.
I will say, just on the counteracting side of this whole thing, when Phoebe and I interviewed Mr. OG, he did say some of this could be propaganda towards weed in general. Yeah. And that's also in my head. But I guess I would rather side on the error of caution.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of just thinking, they're doing that to give weed a bad name. Scare people. So, but there's the balance.
Or just in general, that's how news is. It, blows up the stories and that's all you hear about, even though it's not that common. Like, you're scrolling and how many stories did you see? 10, but there's, millions and millions of people. So, I mean, but I'm not at all countering it or, because it's something to think about for sure. Mm-hmm. And just in general, like you said, when you're buying something and you don't know what's in there, and if you're getting it on the streets, you don't know what's in there, period.
You had a bad stomach the other day. You don't know what you're ingesting, no matter what you're doing, anywhere, in a restaurant, in a you just don't know.
Yeah. What Thanksgiving potlucks. Oh, what are we going to do about them? Everyone, when I say to like, it started like a couple hours after the Thanksgiving potluck at work. Everyone's like, now you know not to eat that food. I'm like, what do you do? Potlucks are fun. I gotta participate, but today is Saturday and my stomach is better. Still not great. It's still not great. I'm so serious.
Oh my God, Phoebe. I think I have a stomach made of titanium. I do, because I just don't. I could eat, it seems like.
I think I was the only one that it affected, though. That's the good thing, is it was only me.
What did you eat that
at least that I know of?
I don't get into the real exotic looking stuff, though.
That's what I think. That's what a friend mentioned. Is she's like, but you ate everything. I'm like, not everything. I wanted to try it all. It all looks so delicious. There was a couple I did not, because I only got one plate, so I just got small amounts of a little bit. That's where I messed up. I should have just focused on a couple things and lessened the risk of overall.
But days. I mean, this is day 3, isn't it?
And I think at this point that it's just happening, maybe it's just thrown off. Your gut bacteria is so sensitive. So, I don't know. But it's not horrible today like it was, because yesterday morning I was like, it was cramping up and everything. Like, I felt like a period almost, but it was just.
Oh my God. So, but that's the prime example of, you think you're just having a plate of food and then,
you think you're just smoking a regular old blunt and it's got fentanyl in it, and now you need Narcan.
So that brings up the question, did Michael Jackson die of that?
No, I looked it up because I was
Uh-huh.
curious too. Propofol is what he died from.
Oh,
Propofol.
okay. I was thinking it was
But
the same.
fentanyl, it's so, because like I said, I had to look it up because it's not one that we grew up. It wasn't in our era, growing up, or when, I was more involved in and knew all those things. Was, I guess, when I was hipper.
I'm into the minds of inventors or scientists, and I just think let's go big. Let's go really, really big. 100 times bigger than morphine. I mean,
it's kind of
why
like,
would
what's
we
the
need
saying?
that?
You need to stop to think about, can I do it? You need to stop and think, should I do it? Isn't that from Jurassic Park? Like, you didn't take time to think, should I do it? You only thought, you only went with, can I do it? And like, yeah, you can do it, but should you? Probably not. We have enough stuff out there. Morphine is strong enough. Can't see any reason we need something stronger than morphine.
Yeah, and honestly, when you said that line right there, should we do it? Can we do it? I thought of AI immediately. Just I know that this is not involved in this conversation, but
but that's another one too. You're right. It's very relevant to that one too.
It triggered that because it's like, we don't know the box that we've opened up. And I say we, and I had nothing to do with it. So let me just take my name out of that little group. But they don't know the box that they've opened up.
And you use AI. I'm not using it because I don't want to add
why?
I don't want to add to the popularity and make it bigger. it's like, as people use it, it's going to be bigger and bigger and more easy to obtain. They're going to keep working on it. And if people just said, maybe it wouldn't grow as fast. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So let me clarify.
Kind of like Walmart. Try not to go to Walmart. Just limit how much you go if you can.
Oh my God.
I know you can't stop it because it's a horrible corporation.
Okay, so that's a different direction. Why?
Oh, we can edit this out. We don't need to go down that road. That's a whole other episode.
I think we do. I mean, we travel where we travel. What's going on with Walmart?
Walmart has always been just a big shiesty corporation. They don't pay their people enough. They get these horribly cheap products that are just horrible for our landfills. The full gamut. The people that own Walmart, the Waltons, are just like filthy rich, ridiculous billionaires. Like, no family, no corporation should have that much power. They go into these towns and they wipe out all the other shops where people would normally go. And just, now there's a Walmart. So they shutter businesses wherever they go and build. And then they leave these big, I don't know if you've seen this also. I'm just running down the list quickly. But another thing they do is they'll have a Walmart there and they'll suddenly think like, oh, I'm going to rebuild this somewhere else. They'll go rebuild it somewhere or some other part of town. And then they leave this big vacant ass building that then gets dilapidated because nobody else needs a building that size. And that's what they do in small towns. And then they, pay low wages. And when you go there now, at this point, they don't even have workers anymore. You got to check yourself out. It just gets worse. It gets worse. Kind of like Amazon. It's just a big gross monster that, it's an evil of the world. Unfortunately, have no choice sometimes. When you live in these towns, you have no choice. But that doesn't mean I can't rage against it.
No. And that's fine. And you should. As far as Amazon, just so you know, I'm keeping it till after Christmas. And then I'm getting rid of my subscription that I have. It's like $15 a month.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to get rid of that as one of my budget hacks.
Bezos, just disgusting. No person should have that kind of money. That's why the world is the way it is, because the wealth is so concentrated at the top. We don't have enough to share down here and live and pay living wages, because they all got to keep it at the top.
He did work his way to the top. It's not like it was just handed to him. I don't think he's not a silver spoon type kid.
No,
right?
but you can still be a reasonable billionaire. Sure. You don't need the piles and piles of money that he has. He could at any point in life say, I don't need this much wealth. Let's give it back to the people. Have you seen the amount of money he has? Like, they do those demonstrations where it's like, this grain of rice is $1 million. And he still has like buckets full of rice to like comprehend how much money he has. It's like a bucket full of rice, and one grain of rice is $1 million.
Wow.
Nobody needs that kind of money. Even if I were I'm self-made. I don't have just because he worked his way up doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean you should have that kind of money that cripples the whole country. Like, that's what's happening. That's why we wonder why we can't pay our bills and, everyone's paycheck to paycheck. It's because Jeff Bezos, the Waltons, people like this, the top 1% of the population hold all the wealth.
That as soon as you said that, I thought of, okay, so let me think of the super wealthy. Let me think if anybody's done anything with it. And somebody did pop into my mind. Can you guess? Taylor Swift. And I say this because she took on her tour, she took the money that she's making there and she paid $100,000 bonuses to the truck drivers, the people that are moving her equipment around, and to the people on the show and the crew. $100,000 as a bonus each.
Well, hold on just 1 second. That is awesome. So Taylor Swift is worth $1.1 billion. Jeff Bezos, $1.1 billion. And that's how much she could do that much. You said she gave those huge bonuses. Yeah. Jeff Bezos, you know what he's worth, Christy?
What?
$165.5 billion.
Oh, wow.
You're telling me he works harder than Taylor Swift?
No.
Exactly. And it's only because he rigged the game. He rigged it for himself and it worked. 165 billion. That's what I'm saying. We don't all comprehend and think about how much he really has in reality. 165 billion. That's what I mean. Like grains of rice, 1 million. He has millions and millions of millions. It's
and
crazy.
The fact that Taylor Swift is a grain of rice in his bowl.
And she's able to do that. Yeah. She's able to treat her people well. He could do the same. He could redistribute that in so many ways.
You just shut down the conversation with that powerful comparison. That was good. That was really good. Because I was thinking they were in the same ballpark.
Absolutely not. He's not in the same ballpark with like Oprah. No, Oprah doesn't have Jeff Bezos' money. These people, let's see, what is Elon Musk?
Who's in his ballpark? I think Elon.
I don't know. Elon Musk is. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk actually has more. He has 240 billion.
Oh, he's higher.
Wait, Bill Gates. Bill Gates, we've known him for how long? He's been around how long? He's got less money than Jeff Bezos, 116 billion. But also Bill Gates does a lot for charity. He actually does do a lot for charity.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories about Bill Gates.
Yeah, there are.
I'm just saying, I've went down that rabbit hole a couple of times. I'm like, what?
Way at the top, like these top, I don't even mean Beyonce money when I say top 1%, because they do work hard for their money. And there's a certain level that, rich people can be rich. I don't fault that, but there should be some type of rules in place to make it so people can't be $165 billion rich or 240 billion. Like Elon Musk at this point owns so many things, and Mark Zuckerberg owns so many things. They kind of control us in a way because they own so much of what we do.
You're right, because it filters into politics. It filters into medicine. It filters into our whole society in some way, shape, or form. And here we are complaining that the cost of eggs have doubled.
How did this happen? We started talking about fentanyl, and now I am ranting about Jeff Bezos.
I know, but true. I love that. I love that we can talk and end up over here. You know what I mean? Because one thing leads into the next thing, and honestly, they're relevant to each other.
Let me circle it back. Wealth inequality has grown over the past couple of years. That definitely is a contributing factor to this opioid epidemic. And probably also how so many people are now depressed, and it's all related. Diddy. Oh my God.
You did miss that topic. Yes.
I didn't think about it. Totally slipped my mind for a moment. And I've been reading about that. That has been crazy. But it's already settled. It's already done. Yeah.
I wonder why they settled so fast.
I think he paid her way more than she was asking, because what she said was extremely incriminating, and I believe was going to just reveal a lot of truths that he didn't want the world to know. So he quickly...
It's too late.
Paid her off. Yeah, it is too late. The can's already cracked a little bit, kind of cracked open the can there, and
fully. Somebody was actually reading, because I use TikTok for my news. Don't come for me. Somebody was actually reading this whole thing, and of course I'm like, come on, read it to me. Let me hear what's happening. And they were going through it page by page, and the stuff that they were saying was just, this guy's not nice. He is not a good guy.
He's been known, for a while, some of the stuff I've heard, because I'm, hip hop's, I've always listened to hip hop. And so the stuff I've heard over the years about him has never been good stuff.
I've always loved his music, and then when he sang to Biggie and that, every breath. Yeah. That song, I just, I welled up, I cried, and just because I felt his loss in that song, and then his wife was in it with him, and that whole thing, it was heartwarming that they would bond together like that. And then to hear all the other stuff that I'm hearing, I'm like, this was a game, and a complete game.
Complete.
And Aubrey O'Day, who was part of that group that he came up with, an MTV show, Danity Kane.
Mm-hmm.
She has been saying this since she left there. And everybody's just like, she's a freak. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Of course, brushing off her thoughts because nobody could think that P. Diddy could do something like that.
Yeah. And now a lot of people are coming out in Cassie's defense and saying like, yeah, totally happened. I could totally see that. He's that type of person.
But I've watched all those documentaries, like the biopics and the movies. They're also saying he's tied to Biggie's death. So, I mean, there's all these conspiracy things going out there.
Well, and they're saying he's tied to some other deaths too. Did you hear that? They think he's tied to his Kim Porter, one of his baby mother's deaths.
Did you see that psychic thing?
Huh? What psychic thing?
Okay, you're going to love this. There is a psychic on TikTok, and she predicted, I guess it was 5 months ago, and she was talking to the dead, which I believe is possible. I do.
Okay.
And so she was talking to Kim Porter 5 months ago. It's documented. And she says that that there's something going to come out in November of 2023 that will start unraveling this whole thing, and it will connect. Yes. That's why it's all over TikTok, because she predicted this time right here. And she
already predicted this came out. She said this 5 months ago.
5 months ago. 5 months ago.
And she said it was because she talked to Kim Porter.
Kim Porter was actually talking to her while she was talking to us, which was kind of cool that we were all in this, watching this together. But she's saying, and she says her eye kept twitching while she was doing it. She's like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like the left side of her head. And she said that it's the nose spray. She said I feel like there's something going on with the nose spray, that there were toxins involved in that nose spray. And the first coroner who first reported that there was a problem died, and a new coroner came to and never mentioned anything about that. She thinks there's a toxic thing that has to do with the nose spray, and that there's something going to happen now to start the unraveling of Diddy, which is happening now.
Yeah, if he did those things, they're saying throw him in there with R. Kelly.
Yeah, and that's what they said in some of the comments. They're like, you're the next R. Kelly, dude. It's just crazy. So that's definitely a hot topic right there.
It's hard telling what's true and what's fake.
It is hard. But I have a feeling we're going to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get down that rabbit hole pretty deep.
Right.
So here we are talking about fentanyl. What we've learned today is it did not take down Michael Jackson, but it can take down the average person. And the way it can be at least helped and save your life is to use Narcan to help combat that, which is very expensive, and probably the average person that has no reason to buy it probably won't. They really need to lower those prices. They really do. They need to make it like freaking Tylenol. If it's a life-saving thing, they need to make it like Tylenol.
Yeah, but they will send you a lot of demonstration devices.
But no discount. You got to pay for the full thing. I will put a link in the podcast notes on the bio, and you can hit the link and go ahead and get yourself some Narcan. I think I'm going to. I'd like to see if it comes down in price a little bit, but I think I'm going to do that. Okay, well, hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let us know how you're doing. And if you care to, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of our show notes, it says support the show. If you click that link, you can support us for $3. That is, you can support us for $3, and that goes straight to the podcast and helps us support the show. So if you feel it in your heart and you like what we're doing, please support the show. And we appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Phoebe, do you have anything to tell the audience?
Just thank you, and I look forward to more updates about Snoop and Diddy in next week's episode.
We will hit the hot topics again in next Wednesday's episode, so stay tuned. Every Wednesday we'll be here. Talk to you soon. Bye.
This episode of Code Green Plant was sponsored by Simply Vibin LLC. Code Green Plant is a Simply Vibin production hosted by Christy Chanel along with her co-host Phoebe James. This podcast is not intended to be used for medical advice and is solely the opinion of the host. Please consult your physician. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Want more? Visit www.simplyvibin.com. And a special thank you to the core group of people who helped with the creation of the Code Green Plant podcast. We appreciate you simply vibing with us.
Code Green Plant.
So when your best friend says you need to have a disclaimer in the beginning of your podcast because the lawyer in her is screaming, you do it. Here's my disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not a therapist. I am not even an expert. I am you. I am bringing information to you as I see it. But don't take my advice. Make your own choices and make them good choices. On with the show.